Hello! Welcome back to another video. You may be asking, what's going on here? What's this new game that I'm showing off to you guys? Well, this is Navalart. I recently gotten this game, like, some time ago. And, basically, to explain what this game is, you pretty much take, Sprocket, and then you mixed and then you fucking mixed Blender with Ultimate Idol Dreadnoughts, and that's basically this game. Also, there is generally menu music, but I turned it off for the sake of reasons and, just easier time not having to deal with random copyright nonsense, even though it doesn't really do much. Anyways, let's go do some shenanigans. Though mostly what I'm just going to do here is show off some of the things that happen that you can do with this game. Like, for example, let's go here, and I'll show off some of the things I've made. This right here is called the Brussels class Corvette. It's actually based off of the thing I've made in Space Engineers. I really should upload at some point, but it's kind of like the other things I make in Space Engineers, where it takes literally forever. But, anyways, so you have all these basic pieces, like, hull pieces. You got, like, a very basic building system, where you can make stuff like, hold on, I'll show it off. So you can basically, like, with the very basic build system, you can make stuff like this. Hold on, it's gonna take it a few seconds. Yeah, you can make stuff like this with a basic build system. But as you also noticed with the previous ship we were looking at, and also some of the ships in this menu here, it's not just that simple. You have multiple pieces. Multiple. All from, like, in multiple different types of categories, from basic parts, weapons, engines, decorations, modules, airplanes, and custom parts. I have not messed with this yet, because I imagine this probably requires Blender, which I haven't really messed around with yet. Now, now for you to get the interesting shapes that I have here on, well, not this ship, on the other ships here, and some of the in-game ships, and also this one ship that someone made here, off the Steam Workshop, to get that kind of shape, what you do is, you get one of these, and, it's relatively simple, and this is where the part where I say it's like Blender mixed with Sprocket and UAD comes into play. You got these different values that you can mess around with that change the overall shape, and even like how round certain parts are and like in which direction, making it so you can build basically whatever you want and however you want. Like, for example, here I just made this really weird looking wedge piece. I'm not sure how you would explain this, but whatever. Anyways, you got that. So you can make very nice hull shapes, like, for example, on this. Give it a second. Like, for example, on this, where we have this very nice bow that I only could dream I could make in Space Engineers. That is, like, comprised of, like, very advanced shapes and, like, very nicely smooth. I will commemorate the absolute hell out of the people who made this game, because they made a very good build system when it comes to building ships. Like, it makes Space Engineers, like, water mod ships look like absolute trash in comparison. And also, the nice thing is that you don't have to build with, like, this advanced style if it's too much for you. You can still build with the basic hull pieces, making something like that one Japanese ship here I showed off earlier. So you can kind of choose in which kind of ship you want it to look like, and how you want it to be, and how simple you want the creation to be when it comes to making it yourself. Which is probably a very excellent addition, I think, that not a lot of building games have a lot of. Like, the only other game I can think of that has that kind of system is Sprocket, or you have, like, the basic system from, like, the previous, like, updates before, you know, the whole adding and all that other, like, random different geometric shapes came into play. Because, you know, like, having systems like that makes it so you don't need to go through, like, the absolute hell of learning and designing something as advanced as this when you can just simply just make, you know, like I said, this. Like, you don't need to go through the absolute insanity. Now, here's the other interesting part. This game doesn't just have World War II era weapons, or just World War II era stuff in general. I'm going to show you some of the interesting parts of this. Like, for example, I'm going to type in MK for, you know, Mark. And you'll see there's some weapons in here that will look very familiar for modern day. Like, for example, I think this is a modern weapon. Yep. 1960s, yep. Yeah, this is a Swedish cannon. And then you have... Is this a modern? No, that's semi-modern. You also have missile weapons. Yes, you have missiles. Like, for example, you even have multiple kinds of missiles, depending on what kind of ones you want to use. Like, for example, do you want to use anti-ship missiles? You have stuff like the Tomahawk and, this thing. Or if you want to use anti-aircraft missiles, you have this and this. Or if you want, like, turreted varieties, you have this, and, like, a couple of others. Want a Sea Whiz? We have one. You have a lot of different things you can choose from. Like, there's all kinds of other things that you can also have, like different kinds of radars, as well as, like, rangefinders and all that stuff. Like, for example, again, with, like, the kind of stuff that, like, it ranges from, like, for example, I think you even have, like, some basic, well, like, there's not a lot of them, but you have some, like, casemate guns as well. Not like I said, though, there's not a lot of them, though they do exist. Like, anyways, here's an example of a modern piece of equipment. You have, like, some of these on Arleigh Burkes. You know, the American destroyers that, you know, are pretty much everywhere in TV half the time. Anyways, speaking of things that are on Arleigh Burkes, here is a fire control radar. You know, cool things like that. Here's the interesting part. It's not just like that. Like, also, like, you know, yeah. What? Where was I going with that sentence? Anyways, here's some funnels. This is where, like, some of the interesting stuff comes in. Because you got stuff like, obviously, the propellers, the rudders, the funnels. You know, all that cool stuff. Also, don't mind all of this weirdness. I have mods. Basically, how this game handles engine power at the moment is you basically place a funnel that has a set number of horsepower. Like, for example, this has, let's see, 50,000? And, like, you know, get enough of them, and your ship goes however fast you want it to go. If you have too little of them, then, well, you're not going to go as fast as you want. Think the game doesn't have enough engine power? Get mods, like what I did. And it is very nice as well that this game already has modding for people to use, so you can, you know, mess around with stuff and not have to be restricted by the kind of things that, you know, regular base game would give you. Like, for example, you can make this massive-ass 386-meter-long vessel move at a decent speed without having to stack, like, 50 funnels in here. Because you can, like, just hide sneakily a modded block in there, and it would work. Anyways, enough of that. The other interesting part is the like other parts of like the building system. Like you have a large array of tools at the moment. For example, design information has the general information of the ship. You also have build tools, which, controls this. And then you also have, where is it? Settings, which, is like the panel that has all this stuff at. And then you also have some other things like scale. Though this only applies to basic hull pieces and also like these rounded hemisphere pieces. Like, there's a lot you can do within this game that is really amazing. Like, for example, like, with how this building system is, like, you can make stuff like this ship look as amazing as you want it to be. Like, because there's already enough, like, decorative pieces and enough tools and enough parts to make it so you have, like, a really good ship. Like, for example, here I made the Eisenfast class battleship, and I'd say I did a pretty good job. That's besides the point. Anyways, what next should I show off before I go into the combat? Oh, yeah, there's also, like, the fact you can change the background like that, though with the darker one you don't get these arrows that help you see where the hell stuff's going. There's also stuff where you can turn off the grid, replay build process, like this. Speed it up or whatever. God, there's a lot of parts to that. Anyways, or straight up rotate the entire ship. You can do a lot of things in this game. Hell, you can even change the snap. Like how parts snap together in this. And you can also access the Steam Workshop necessarily. Yeah, you can access the Steam Workshop as well as just like random things you have subscribed. Like, for example, in Affordable Subscribed Stuff, this has stuff for that. Oh, there's also, don't mind that, there's also different things you can do for this. Like, for example, I found out, apparently you can do stuff for 3D printing. Yes, you can 3D print your designs. I am not kidding. Very interesting feature indeed. Anyways, now we can go on to stuff like, for example, the paint. Now, you may be asking, what's going on here? Why is this not wood? Well, I was asking a question over on, like a person's workshop submission. There you go. Word wasn't there for me for a second. And, like, the way you can make stuff have wooden decks is you basically go here. Oh my god, the barking. And you can change between different kinds of paint, including wood deck. And you can also change the color of this. I have not figured out how to set the color palette to be, how it should be. I've not found that out yet, but, probably this edit tool. Not sure. Anyways, whatever. You also have, like, other stuff like this, which... yeah. Yeah, it does that. And now, finally, for, stuff like, for example, the test. The test button. Where you can, show off your vessels and stuff like that and see, oh, my ship is floating really low, or, oh, it's sinking. Like, for example, this one that floats low because of how heavy it is. And you can also see how all the cannons are moving. And also, on the left, well, not left, on the right here, you can see all the weapons and stuff. And also that lock thing, it doesn't lock the turrets into position, it actually makes them go back to their original position. And I'm apparently attacking aircraft. You can also change the speed of your vessel from, multiple kinds of different speeds. You can go in reverse and all that kind of stuff. You can change which direction you're going, obviously. On the left, you have the stuff telling you how operational your systems are, and I got a notification for Wave 1. Anyways, and on the upper left corner, you also have a thing that tells you how much damage you've done. And also you have, in the upper right corner, a little cool radar thing. Anyways, that's enough of that. We'll go back to the main menu. Now you may be asking, why are we going back to the main menu? Well, for a very specific reason. We have other things like, for example, battle. This has a, well, don't mind the Chinese, or whatever language that is, I'm not sure what it is. Some kind of language that looks like that. I have little clue of. Yeah, with this, you have multiple different, like, preset, battle things you can do. Like, for example, you can fight Yamato, you could fight this destroyer, you can fight this destroyer, you can fight a cruiser, you can fight, another destroyer. I have these destroyers. That's another cruiser, Hell, you can even fight the Bismarck. Or an Arleigh Burke. The choices are really high. Like, you have different kinds of things you can choose here. And that's not just it. It's not just limited to, like, the preset stuff. See this? Quick battle. You can set up your own battles. Like, for example, I have, like, all the ships I've made. And, like, the one ship I didn't made, which is the Ticonderoga. And also some of the base game stuff. And you can also change the difficulty of the ship. You can even make them into target ships if you want to test your weapons. You can change the distance. You can change the time. You can make it so the time doesn't progress or not. Or it does, I mean. English. English is weird. Or you can go into the gallery and show off your stuff. Like, for example, here's what the gallery looks like. You can, if you go down here, you can spawn in your ships. Like, for example, let's go spawn in, let's spawn in, sure, this. You can do that. You can adjust your speed using the mouse wheel. You can go up or down with shift and spacebar, which for some reason shift makes you go up and spacebar makes you go down. That's, yeah, I know, it's weird too. Thankfully, everything else is not weird. Now, this is not where all the things end, you see. This is not just simply a photo mode where you can change stuff like weather. Uh-oh, what did I just do? Yeah, this is not just a simple photo mode. You also have, other features like, what is this? You have that. You can even turn off the physics for when you need to make sure you won't have physics off because of very specific pose you put the ship in. There's also, as you can see up here, and also partially down here with the controls, some little stuff going on here. You see this person icon? Click that, and now I'm on board the ship. You can move with arrow keys. Jumping is right shift. Running is left shift. The control scheme is a bit funky, but what do you expect? This is an early access game. Pretty fun though. That you can actually jump around and see how big your ship actually is. Like getting a first-person view, because normally in games like this where you build stuff, like for example in Sprocky, you can't really get a first-person view of the vehicle you've built. The only game that allows you to do that is Space Engineers. Which, you know, that has some of its issues of its own, like for example, it not exactly being the most stable game. Now, obviously, you can't go into your ships because of, you know, reasons, like for example, yeah, this is not an actual interior, this is just, you know, me facing my face into a wall. The other funky thing is with this is also the collisions of the certain objects. Like for example, this turret, and also some parts of the ship, have really funky collisions. Depending on where you are. Like for example, if I were to... Oh, let's see, what would be a good spot to make this example? Ooh, here we go. Okay. Like, for example, if I were to do this, I am currently standing on the hitbox for the turret, even though there's nothing below me. Which, I mean, again, this is early access. It's kind of expected. So, you know, yeah. Well, here's another cool Seaways thing that... part of the modern weaponry, because this is also a modernized version of the Eisenfaust. Anyways, that's enough of this part of the game. I'll finally show you the proper combat, and this is where stuff gets interesting. Real interesting. Because not just, oh, shoot cannon at ship. Since you have stuff like the missiles, and let's do a pre-done thing. Let's go fight, you know, let's go fight in Iowa. Sure. Hello, I am back. I was switching out the ship so I can properly test the weapons. Because you see, as you can see here on this ship, there is multiple things that are here. Obviously, you know, the big giant cannons. Can't really miss those. Not just that. Oh. It's not just that. Okay, let's press X. Fire a salvo. I don't know why my big guns haven't fired yet. If you press Control, you can see your cursor pop up. See this button here? This is where the missiles are at. For example, I have harpoons and whatever this is. And then you can click on the missiles and they deploy, and then you can see them fire out the front or wherever. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things you can do here. That isn't just firing cannons at a vessel. Oh my god, that is probably loud. So, you know, yeah. You can do lots and lots of multiple things. Like, for example, you also have, like, some things that tell you what has happened. Just like when we have more dreadnoughts. My god, in fact, I just blew up that ship. I'm gonna go back into the main menu before the loud as fuck victory thing plays. Hi, this game also has recoilless rifles. Fun. Anyways, this video is nearing the end. I've shown you most of the things I can necessarily show you. Like, there is some more, like, for example, multiplayer, but A, I don't want to have any other people to play this game with, and B, I don't want to go into a game with random-ass people at the moment. There's also tutorials if you want to figure out how the hell something works. There's also mods, obviously, for you to turn on or off your mods, and credits and stuff like that. Obviously, the quit game button. Up here, you have a thing for you to change the weather of the thing here. Like, for example, you can make it stormy. Also, if you hold right-click here long enough, you can see the information of your ship that you've picked. Very cool. Up here, you have their Discord server and apparently shortcuts. Anyways, that's the end of this video, doing a basic review of this game. Hope you found this game interesting and might actually want to buy it. Last time I checked, it's like 15 bucks on Steam. So if you want to get this game, then go ahead. If you don't, then, well, that's your business. Anyways, bye. Have a good time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Our Discord server is down below, as well as SM's YouTube channel, and this ship is slowly getting covered in water. Anyways, bye.